This is the Wet Lunch on the High Seas podcast with historian Stephen Ujifusa. Business, history, and culture with a nautical twist. Good morning. This is historian Stephen Ujifusa. Welcome to Wet Lunch on the High Seas podcast. I've been hard at work on my new book, The Age of Traction, about the rise and fall of the electric trolley between 1880 and the 1920s, and with a particular look at Peter Arrow Brown Widener of Philadelphia, who helped implement the electrification of streetcars. And along with this era of rapid technological change and the growth of cities was extremely violent labor strife and many echoes of what we were going through today, gaps between rich and poor, the emergence of new technologies, and affordabilities in cities. Recently, however, I was looking through YouTube and found a video of the SS United States being constructed. So this took me back to my first book. And the ship right now is undergoing the final stages of preparation for sinking as an artificial reef. I don't like using the term deployment. What it is sinking, deliberate sinking, or scuttling, and no sugarcoating it. But it showed the 2-year construction progress as documented by the shipyard. And it was pretty awe-inspiring to see in color the images of this ship being constructed. Thousands of men, I think about approximately 2,500 to 5,000 men worked on the SS United States. And this was a group of people in Virginia who were both white and African-American. The ship was also, the interiors were designed by an all-woman team, which was unusual in the 1950s. But here's some thoughts I have about the what is going to happen just watching this video. The SS United States was taken out of service in 1969, a mere 17 years after her maiden voyage. And what was cutting edge, wondrous, modish when new had become obsolete and dated less than 2 decades later. In fact, looking at this technology that was shown as cutting edge in the 1950s in this video, it was amazing how dated and clunky it looked by today's digital standards. Everything was analog, seeing the analog navigation station and the electrical wiring, everything was, and the fuse boxes. It's amazing how basically archaic a lot of this stuff looked that was cutting edge in 1952. Over the past 57 years, this masterpiece of American engineering has been slowly but steadily unbuilt. Furniture, artwork, and fittings were sold off in the 1980s. All the asbestos-based paneling and insulation was stripped in the 90s. They didn't know in the 90s that this was a cancerous material. Back then, it was seen as a miracle fireproof material. And then while she was in Turkey in the 1990s, the copper and aluminum ductwork and piping were stripped around the same time. She also lost 3 of her 4 bronze propellers. All that remained when she came to Philadelphia, 1996, was her stunning external beauty and profile. Yet, over the past year, even that asset has been sacrificed. While docked in Mobile, Alabama, the reef preparation has included the removal of her funnels and her radar mast, any remaining electrical wiring, and her glass windows and portholes. Now, the SS United States sits a gutted hulk, rust-streaked, stripped of her profile, and dead, ready to be sunk later this year in the so-called Gulf of America as the world's largest artificial reef, saved from the scrapper's torch, and it will be a haven for sea life, but forever vanished from the public consciousness, along with the post-war American world that created her. In probably anywhere from a month to 3 months, the SS United States will be towed out to Destin Fort Walton Beach and sunk about 20 miles offshore. That'll be something that'll be probably just as widely watched, if not more so, than her legendary tow down the eastern seaboard around this time last year. As a fact, it was February 19th of 2025 that she departed Philadelphia. And There are a series of iconic photos that were made during that tow, as well as crowds who line the shores to capture one last glimpse of this magnificent ship while not under her own power, while at sea. And it'll be an interesting commentary on the direction of this country and what we value. This is historian Stephen Uchifusa. This is Wet Lunch on the High Seas. Thank you for listening. A review by David Macaulay, one of my childhood heroes, of A Man and His Ship. By entertaining, informing, and ultimately inspiring, A Man and His Ship transforms its readers into passengers traveling across an ocean and through time. The SS United States has sailed under its own power for over 40 years, but the story of its creator, William Francis Gibbs, is more timely than ever. It reminds us that formal education pursued primarily out of expectation is no match for self-education fueled by passion and determination. David Macaulay himself is the author of a wonderful book on the SS United States that followed several years after mine called Crossing on Time, about his own connection to the SS United States. To learn the full story of William Francis Gibbs and the SS United States, please check out A Man and His Ship, which was published in 2012. It was my first book, and it was a wonderful introduction and debut for me. And through this book, I hope that the story of the SS United States will continue to inspire future generations long after she is sunk as an artificial reef later this year. This is the Wet Lunch on the High Seas podcast with historian Stephen Ujifusa. Thank you for listening. You can expect new episodes every week. To subscribe to the Wet Lunch on the High Seas podcast, visit steveujifusa.substack.com.